Good afternoon, all. It's our pleasure to have with us Dr. Manjunatha. Sir is Associate Professor, Department of Veterinary and Animal Husbandry Extension Education, Veterinary College, Hibbal, Bangalore. And the topic chosen for deliberation by our esteemed guest is coordination of stakeholders in effective transfer of farm technologies, experiences of livestock sector. Sir, you're audible as well as visible, and your presentation is visible. Please start. The session would be 1 hour long, and we'd want to give 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the end for the Q&A. And I'm extremely sorry there were some technical hiccups on the laptop of our resource person, due to which we were a few minutes late. So, sir, you are audible as well as visible. Please start.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majid. So, good afternoon, all the participants. I beg your pardon. This was small technical hitch in the laptop. So, the topic chosen by me is coordination of stakeholders in effective transfer of farm technologies. So, experiences from livestock sector. So, I would like to share my own experiences. So, let us try to put everything in one small understanding, like what could be the goal of human life. For many of us, it could be like creating some wealth, then creating some assets, very good assets, and living very happily. But for many, the paths treaded could be different.
Yeah.
The approaches could be different. So in that sense, so as the paths and approaches are different, so there are so many stakeholders in our life. So same is applicable for farm technologies, or it could be agriculture and livestock. So with this positive note, we'll just try to understand the topic. So we'll get introduced to the topic by just recollecting the definition of extension education. So as given by Paul Legans, so the extension education is an applied science consisting of contents derived from researchers, accumulated field experiences, and relevant principles drawn from the behavioral sciences, synthesized with useful technology into a broader philosophy, principles, contents, and methods focused on the problems of out-of-school education for adults and youth. So this is the definition. It's a very, very pertinent definition which applies to any type of that matter. Here, the term applied science comes in. So applied, automatically it implies that many stakeholders are there. So that means it is a very, very collaborative approach. So wherein so all the stakeholders should definitely work for the solving of the problems of the people. So in that context, so let us try to quickly understand the meaning of coordination. So I just don't dwell too much on the meaning and other things. So the coordination is the synchronization of efforts of individuals and groups for the purpose of attaining organizational efficiency. So that means, so especially these coordination becomes very, very important when the players are interdependent, and likewise when the work or the project or the organization involved is multi-sectorial. So one thing we have to remember here is the farmer's needs. So probably if we can recollect the farmer's needs and the perspective of the farmer, probably we'll understand the importance of coordination. So the farmer, in very simple terms, so he normally in Indian setting, it is a integrated system, farming system approach. So wherein so he is having some cattle, likewise he is involved in some cultivation or horticulture, etc. So there, the needs of the farmers, the information needs of the farmers are many. So it could be animal husbandry, agriculture, horticulture, etc. So there, finally he wants a solution for the problem. But many times, we are divided. We are segmented. So we have separate universities for livestock, likewise horticulture, agriculture, etc. So our segmentation definitely will hinder his needs. So in that context, again, so coordination becomes very, very important, right? So normally the features of coordination is that so coordination should integrate the group efforts. So the group could be a small project, or it could be a multi-sectoral project or multi-institutional project. So finally, the coordination should integrate the group efforts. So likewise, it should ensure the unity of efforts. Finally, fulfilling the objectives becomes very, very important. So likewise, it is a continuous process. So somewhere it doesn't end. The coordination doesn't end. So it is a continuous process and it is pervasive. So it could be from the bottom level worker to the top level manager or the policy maker. So everywhere it is there. And likewise, coordination is the responsibility of the manager. So he has to coordinate. So all the land materials, whatever it is, so under him. So likewise, coordination is a deliberate function. So we have to deliberately coordinate. Otherwise, so we cannot definitely expect the fruits of the project, or we cannot achieve the objectives. So what if less coordination or no coordination? So many times, definitely we lose sight of our roles. We cannot work in line with the objectives of the project or the organization. So normally what we do is we pursue our own interests. Say for example, a plant pathologist is there, entomologist is there, so he is pursuing in his own line. So, but ultimately the objective, organizational objective is the welfare of the people, welfare of the farmer. So that's somewhere we may forget. So in that context again, so coordination becomes very, very important. So how to bring about coordination? So when we just look into the management books, so these are the 3 ways. So wherein coordination is brought about, the books say. So one is delegation of authority. Then the second one is use of job design. And the third one is use of committees. We'll quickly just run through this. So delegating authority. So here, so delegation of authority is nothing but vesting powers to the managers or the subordinates to carry certain functions independently. So, but one thing we have to remember that, so they should be given enough facilities, enough funds, and likewise enough resources wherein they can act upon. So many times, we delegate authority, but we do not give resources. Say for example, it could be an RA. Say for example, in one of my project, so I had given enough authority, then freedom to the RA. So he could really turn out in the project. So in that sense, so the authority should be in commensurate with the other facilities. So likewise, the second method wherein we can coordinate very well is use of job design. So what is this job design? So it is nothing but structuring the work so as to blend personal needs and organizational requirements. So which fosters motivation and increased work quality and quantity. So one thing we should always remember, every organization has its own goals. Please note, every organization has its own goals. So beneath that, it could be department goals. And finally, the base of the organization goals is employee goals. So we have to integrate these organization goals with the employee goals. For example, leave the organization. Take example of houses. What is our personal goals? So definitely our personal goals would be creating wealth, running a good family, having good health, love, career, etc. So these are our personal goals. So how can we integrate our personal goals with the organization goals becomes very, very important. Say for example, a very dissatisfied employee, a dissatisfied subordinate, he cannot really turn out. He cannot really turn out. A satisfied, on the contrary, satisfied employee, definitely if his goals are fulfilling, so definitely, so he will start contributing to the organization goals. So in that context, so we have to see that the employee goals align with the organization goals. Say for example, a researcher. So if he is having interest in certain area, so we can allow him to work on that area. So automatically, so his personal goals are fulfilled. So through that personal goals, so we can start fulfilling the organization goals. So that's how. So we should make the energies synergize so that the organization goals can be fulfilled. So that is one of the very, very subtle way of coordination, right? So likewise, use of committees. So is other way of bringing in coordination. So especially when tasks or assignments require cooperation or synchronization of efforts by individuals or groups of different departments. So here I do not dwell too much on all these different committees, etc. So here the committees could be ad hoc committees. So wherein these committees are formed for a particular purpose. So the committee ends there once so it has fulfilled its obligations. So, for example, it could be like there could be some problem in the department. So a committee may be formed to inquire about the problem and give its recommendations. So likewise, it could be a standing committee. So wherein it is in permanent nature. So many of the departments, say for example, Panchayat Raj. So at the Panchayat level or at Taluka level or at the district Jilla Panchayat level, there are so many standing committees. So these standing committees are formed wherein the problems are permanent in nature or perpetual in nature. So wherein those committees meet regularly and give the recommendations. So likewise, the other way of committee is plural executives. So wherein these committee members have the authority to order the implementation of its own recommendations. So these type of committees are also there. Say for example, the best examples they quote is the board of directors, or it could be our cabinets in the state assembly or at the central government. So they are plural executives. One more best example normally quoted is it seems like Switzerland Federal Council. So it is every quoted as best example. So these are the different types of committees. So wherein we can use for coordination. I'll just come back to these the effectiveness of these committees in the future slides. So coming to the coordination of stakeholders in effective transfer of farm technologies. So I will take the example of animal husbandry because I am from veterinary and animal husbandry background. So I'll just put all the stakeholders into certain headings. Say for example, public extension services. So these public extension services, they could be the stakeholders could be Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Sciences. Likewise, the universities, if at all they are in the states, the Krishi Vijnana Kendras, so the Department of Agriculture and Department of Watershed, or it could be so even the Atma, which is an independent society coordinating the transfer of technologies at the district level and taluka levels, right? And the other domain could be like cooperatives and private extension services. So they could be the various milk unions, district milk unions and milk cooperative societies at the village level. Or they could be the various NGOs. Say for example, BAVE. So in Karnataka, many other NGOs are there. For example, the other popular one is SKDRDP, Sikh Kshetra Dharmasthala Gramina Abhivrudhi Yojana. So likewise, there are many training institutes run by banks. For example, RootSets, Rural Self-Employment Training Institutes, run by various banks and training institutes. Then there could be so many religious institutions wherein so they are carrying out various extension works. So likewise, it could be Krishik Samajas, organic farmers associations, various farmers associations, and even individual entrepreneurs who are into the extension services, or they can be used in extension services. So the other the important domain wherein coordination is required are the important stakeholders. So they are print media, the various newsletters, radio, television, even private cable networks, and the affiliate, so various ICTs. It could be mobile, email, internet, the various blogs, WhatsApp, and all those things. So these are the various important stakeholders. What I put in right into three categories. So we can just see here. There are so many players. So there are so many players. So each player is having its own mandate. So the mandates are different. So likewise, the resources are different. Say for example, veterinary university or an agricultural university. So the main mandate of these universities could be teaching to a greater extent and research to a certain extent. And many times, extension is of less priority because of so many reasons, including inadequacy of the staff. Whereas the animal husbandry department or agriculture department, so the main mandate is extension. So they have the strength of manpower to a certain extent and resources. They have the strength of resources, the various programs, projects, etc. So they have the strength. So here the strength is expertise. So here the strength is the various other resources. So likewise, approaches could also differ from stakeholder to stakeholder. Say for example, an NGO. So it is purely bottom-up approach, wherein so they emphasize the participation. So whereas here, the agriculture universities or some other higher institutions, so the approach is totally different. So in such a situation wherein mandates are different, resources, access to resources are different, and approaches are different, so definitely, so coordination plays a very, very important role. So here, the success of the transfer of technology, is how we can best utilize these stakeholders in their own strengths and bringing them together, synergize, and see that transfer of technology is possible. So that is the crux of, or how that is how we can crack the nut to see that the technologies reach the needy people and the farmers. So hope I have put in the right way. Say for example, I'll just quote some examples, just examples wherein certain level of coordination was possible. Say for example, I was involved in coordinating one program called as ration balancing program. So this ration balancing program, it is a part of program of NDDB, so which was implemented by milk unions. So that program was enough. So that is information networking for animal productivity and health. So that was the program. So that enough program had a component of ration balancing. Okay, so wherein the local resource persons, these people, the local resource persons, so who had the experience of livestock, or they could be some secretaries, or the milk testers, or some knowledge, little educated people from the villages were trained in use of that software. So they were trained to use the software and advise the farmers in composing a right ration to the dairy cows. Okay, so that was the program. So that was vested upon the milk unions. For example, here where I was working as a milk union. So the implementation was shouldered by the assistant managers, so who were having the BSc agriculture background. So these people, but they lacked the real knowledge or skills of the animal nutrition, etc. So wherein it had to be filled. So likewise, they had the advantage, the milk union had the advantage of networking. So the networking was predominant. So various milk cooperatives and extension officers, the network was huge, and that was the plus point. So when they coordinated with the veterinary college, when they sought the help of the veterinary college, which had the strength of experts. Say it could be animal nutrition, or it could be animal husbandry, or it could be the other things, and likewise training facilities. It could be the rooms or the projection facilities, whatever it is, and likewise the extension department coordinated all of the programs. So in these programs, we almost together, I'll put it at like together, not me or we. So we together, we tried. So more than around 300 local resource persons in various talukas of Hassan district. So thereby the program was successfully implemented. If had not the milk union taken the help of the veterinary college, so probably the success or the quality of training to the LRPs, local resource persons, could have been much more less. So that is the beauty of coordination, right? So I'll just draw the one more example wherein coordination can be done at any level for that matter. Say for example, our postgraduate department at Bangalore College. Few students, 2 students, for example, I've taken only 2 examples here. 2 students, so where they were given the problem of demonstrating the effect, the positive effect of intensive cultivation of Sesbania grandiflora, a fodder tree. So poor feeding of legumes was the problem. So how to address? So this is one of the solution. So the solution was given to a PG student. So the objective of the PG student, as the personal goal of the PG student, is doing good work, getting the thesis done, good publications, and getting good jobs. So that are the personal objectives of the PG student. But for the department, for the college, giving a solution to the problem is the goal. So there, you can just see how the department or the organization goes or aligning with the personal goal, So that way, so when a good coordination, with good guidance by the guide was given, so on these issues like intensive cultivation of solution for one more student, so there was a very good result. Say for example, this PG student, Dr. Pramila, she could make out that, or she could come out with the result that feeding about 5 kgs of Sesbania grandiflora per cow per day, so could increase the milk by 13%. So that is wonderful. That is wonderful, really wonderful. So likewise, one more, the postgraduate student like Dr. Kantaraju, so he fed Lucerne around 2 to 3 kgs daily per cow. So he could also show that milk production could increase by almost 1 liter per day. So that is the beauty of coordination. So I'll just recollect back this slide. So this result, so that had a cascading effect on the future course of action of the department. Say for example, department was involved in one more watershed project, so wherein this became the major component of the project. So please watch a small alignment or coordination of the personal objectives of a PG student with the department objective, coming out with the result, and that result being part of the bigger project, becoming a part of a larger program of the animal husbandry department, is how it moves from phase to phase and it becomes a solution for the entire people. So that is the beauty. So I'll just go to the one more example. So that is the watershed project implemented by our university. So wherein our department was also a part of it. So there many institutes were part of the big project like State Agriculture Universities, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore University, Karnataka State Remote Sensing Organization, and likewise disaster management unit of the state. So I won't dwell too much upon the project. I'll just touch upon the importance of coordination, which we observed, which we could bring in to popularize our results. So here, example, the objectives of the project given to the veterinary university was to identify the existing problems, critical gaps, and formulating best management practices related to livestock and fisheries, and to organize capacity building activities to address these critical gaps, and likewise to provide inputs for livestock and fisheries development activities for the watershed development based on the results of these pilot activities. Okay, and one more objective was genetic improvement of small ruminants. So I'll just touch upon, I won't touch upon details of the project because it is not required here. I just want to highlight the importance of coordination. So for example, it was implemented in 7 districts and about 160 villages, and all those things. So the various activities to fill the gaps in the field, where I'll just go directly to the activities. So the various workshops, so many workshops were conducted, farm demonstrations on enrichment of dry fodder and usage of low quality unconventional feeds. Likewise, farm demonstrations on silage making using silo bags, and farm trials on integration of fodder and fodder trees in horticulture crops and bunds of farm ponds. Say these were, so probably you can relate to the previous slide of the experience of the PG student. So that result, so that became a component here in a bigger project. And likewise, participated research on detection and control of subclinical mastitis, then production units, that is establishment of fodder nurseries in a minimum of 5 guntas. Okay, then production units, that is introduction of rams or bucks, then promotion of Sesbania as fodder for livestock, and support to downer cow by lifting machine trees. So these were the highlighting activities. So many activities were there. So the important activities which could make some dent in the program and which were considered for upscaling in the future. So I'll just run through. So I'll just take the example of silage making using silo bags. Okay. So this silage is a very, very important fodder resource. So especially during summer, especially wherein the green fodder is not available. So probably, so I won't dwell too much on those things. So here, so these, say these are the silo bags. These are the silo bags. So we can just store the silage, the fodder, green fodder after chaffing, filling them, and store for many months. Okay, and use whenever required, especially during the summer. So I'll just go with the example or a small case study of Mr. Kemparaju. For example, this person is the Kemparaju, so that it is a representative. So now he is owning many bags of 1,000 kg capacities. So each bag normally can hold around 750 to 800 kgs, and even 500 kg bags are there. So this person showed the way. For example, showed the way. Like seeing is believing. So Kemparaju has evolved himself as a very good expert. Say, for example, sometime back, so this person was facilitated at the by the minister, agriculture minister itself at the district level function. So he has evolved himself as an expert. So that way, I can call him like a farmer professor. So seeing him, many farmers have adopted silage making, and these silage bags, so they are the new assets for these people. And likewise, it is a new taste for the cows. And these person and many others, so they started purchasing silo bags on their own. So it is nothing but a reinventing technology. So this example, what I'm quoting is from Chamarajanagar district of Karnataka. So the Kemparaju and his friends, so they formed a nucleus of innovative farmers. So most of them had chaff cutters, but they had that inner urge to do something differently. So fodder chaffing, to remind you, so chaffing is a very, very important activity in animal husbandry, also especially dairying. So it saves fodder wastage, and even digestion improves, and all those positive effects are there. So at the individual level or the rental basis at the community, or the young entrepreneurs can also gain access these chaff cutters. They can give on rent. So that possibility is also there. And what we insist that each and every institution, veterinary institution, should be able to demonstrate such positive impacts of using silo bags for preparing silage. So that way, a new practice, when accepted by many people, so that becomes a traditional practice. So that's how it happened in Shivpura village of Chamarajanagar district and nearby villages, wherein so many farmers they accepted this silage making using silo bags. So these highlights were publicized in one of the daily, Krushi Kanaja, one of the important daily in Karnataka. And to our surprise, so this was taken to the higher levels that I'll just depict in the future slides. So many milk unions, they started buying and distributing silo bags to the farmers, and likewise animal husbandry department also has given tender. So it is also planning to procure bags and distribute to the farmers, and likewise, so this has become or it has been included in the fodder policy of the government of Karnataka. So that is using silo bags and converting into silage. So these, we could also come out with a package of practice for small farmers. Say, for example, especially during summer, how to tide over summer by these small farmers who do not have irrigation facilities. So you should grow fodder for 5 to 6 quintas, which would yield around 2 to 2.5 tons of fodder. So which can be preserved using silo bags, 2 to 4 silo bags, and very easily. So when fed at the rate of 10 to 15 kgs per cow, so very easily for 3 to 4 months of scarcity can be tided over in the summer. So that way, so this project could also give a package of practice for small farmers. And likewise, a small economics fair was also calculated for a unit cost of 5,000 rupees, and the BCR was very good, around 2.5. So this was given to the watershed department, so which could push in the technology further. The other important technology which was a highlight was the prevention and control of subclinical mastitis. So wherein the subclinical mastitis in cows so could reduce the production unknown. So it is unseen, so it is not at all visible. But slowly the cow will be suffering, and likewise the productivity will be also low. So that is one more activity which was showcased or which had given very good results. So the other one is support to downer cows by means of mobile lift cum travis. So many times, especially the crossbred cows, they fall sick and they do not get up. So that is called as downer cow. So especially post pasture and after pasteurization, because of lack of or deficiency of so many minerals and disease, and sometimes due to disease, so they will not be able to get up on their own. So it requires some assistance by lifting and making, supporting it, and see that it walks on its own for a period of time. So that was again designed by one of our scientists, Dr. Shivkumar Viredar, and this was accepted. And so now it has gone to the extent that so every taluka every veterinary hospital will be going to have one such travis, lifting travis, so that the downer cows can be assisted. Okay. So the other important intervention was introduction of rams or pucks. So especially the genetics says that every two years, so the rams should be changed. So if, for example, here in Chamarajanagar district, we gave certain rams, so which were very close to Bannur process, they were Bannur process. So, but the Chamarajanagar rams were local, non-descriptive. So automatically we could see a very good positive impact on introduction of these rams, wherein the baseline survey, it had showed that 20 to 25% lamb mortality was there. So after the introduction, so the mortality decreased. So likewise, the birth weight increased significantly. So from 2 kgs to 2.36 kgs. Likewise, the female birth weight of the lambs also increased. To our just for the data, what say for example earlier they were the lambs or kids of 2 months age old were sold at 2,500 rupees, 2,500 to 2.75, something like that. So the lambs born out of these rams, so were sold at the rate of 3.5 to 4,000 rupees. So that way, so say here we distributed 2020. So that will have cascading effect. So all the rams mostly were purchased for breeding purpose. So automatically these 20, so with a flock size, each with a flock size of, for example, 10 sheep, so 10 male lambs. So that were again taken to breeding. So that will have a high cascading effect and a positive impact on the economy of the shepherds. So this was one more important intervention. The other intervention was establishment of fodder. So wherein we could demonstrate that the various fodder, there are various fodder. Normally for the farmer, green fodder means Napier. That is not so. That is not so. There are so many other fodders, perennial fodders. So likewise legumes, it could be hedge lucerne, or it could be lucerne, or it could be Stylosanthes, etc. So all these were shown to the farmers, and this was one more important thing. So now I'll just come to the coordination aspect as such. So all these technologies were popularized at the field level through various training programs, awareness programs. Then demonstrations were conducted. So likewise, the success was demonstrated at the field days. Field days were conducted. And all the, especially at the interested farmers' farms, the success of the technology was popularized in the project area. So the results were taken and later shared at the district level meetings, especially of the officers, and likewise exhibitions. So here I can share my own experience. what I personally did is I collected the photos of the successful farmers themselves and prepared posters and placed them at various strategic positions like milk cooperative societies. So there, so the farmers, they see their own friend, their own neighbor coming out with something new and being showcased at the in the poster. So that becomes a motivation. That's how I did. So likewise, the results were again reached out to various extension officers at the state level. So state level workshops were conducted. Say for instance, I presented one paper on the silage bag at the state level veterinarians conference conducted by Karnataka Veterinary Association. So automatically, so the much bigger audience are reached out, and likewise the media was media self was taken. Example, newspaper, television, etc. Short videos were shot and they were circulated among WhatsApp groups, and even it is posted on our university website. So that way, the demonstrations were conducted at the village level, wherein the various stakeholders at the village level, that is the farmers. So here, one more point I would like to mention is that, say for example, the various people's representatives, the Mandal Panchayati members, president, etc. So they were all involved. So we told them clearly, so this is only a pilot project. We are conducting demonstrations to show that, so these are the benefits of these technologies. So this is not a like beneficiary program or distribution of inputs to the beneficiaries farmers. So please cooperate us and see that this program is successful. So that way, so when they were convinced, so we didn't face much of the problem in selection of the beneficiaries. So they were very cooperative in such sense. And likewise, researchers and village level institutions, okay, the various hospitals, the various doctors, the agriculture department, the watershed department, the people's representatives. So all these peoples were involved in conducting the demonstrations. And to the next level, so they were documented properly. So they were shared among the farmers themselves and the extension officers, the doctors, and the various conferences, etc. And finally, so it was taken to the top level, policy level, so wherein the decision makers are convinced about the success, and they were integrated to the higher level programs. Okay, say for example, see coordination at the policy level. Say for example, the Commissioner of Watershed Development Department. So he called meeting of various other stakeholders. So the Commissioner of Animal Husbandry Department, the Commissioner of the Agriculture Department, directors, additional directors of Animal Husbandry Department, so the various senior officers of the Karnataka Milk Federation, etc. So they were all called, and so we were, so our nodal officer was requested to present the results and how best it can be so pushed in to a larger audience. So that's how it was discussed. So in that sense, so these were the upscaling success. What we can say is, for example, fodder establishment of fodder nurseries. So it was included under State Fodder Security Policy 2018. So this was prepared. So Finance Department has given concurrence, and even the cabinet approval was given. So probably because of the COVID, so probably the progress is very slow, I hope. So these components are included in the policy. So policy implementation period, so it is around 2019 to 24. So maybe because of COVID, the progress could be slow, but so definitely the progress, small steps, and coordination for all the stakeholders. So we could see that, so this component was incorporated into the state fodder policy. So likewise, silage making using silo bags. So here, so it was included in the action plan under RKVY. So the program is also being implemented under NAFCC, that is National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change, during the last year. Then various milk unions so have taken up distributing the silo bags on subsidized rates. Say for example, Hassan Milk Union. So I'm sure that 1,000 bags were distributed, and there was a lot of demand, and they are procuring 1,000 silo bags for distribution in the second level. So likewise, fodder enrichment. So the Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Sciences is convinced to supply kits for fodder enrichment. So these also has been included in the fodder policy. And detection and control of subclinical mastitis. So these has been accepted by the US. I've taken up detection of subclinical mastitis in a project mode, and subclinical mastitis kits to MPCS are provided, and secretaries and milk testers are being trained in this regard. And demonstration of support to donor cow by means of mobile lift cum truggies. So as I discussed in the previous slide, so it is in the process of procuring one such lift to all the veterinary hospitals, or at least one to each taluka. And introduction of ramps or bucks. So breeding ramps were distributed. So for example, in the watershed department itself, around 157 beneficiaries, taking the clue from our results. And likewise, so breeding ramps, Bandu ramps were distributed in the NAFCC project under National Livelihood Mission. And this how the publicity was given, the various media was engaged, right? So for example, so various success stories, training manuals, handouts, and even CDs. The video documentation was done, and it is uploaded to our website also. The programs are given in DD Chandana. The TV programs are also given. So this how it was. That means the media need to be also coordinated. It is not. So it has to be coordinated. So we can take some cue or clue how even ICTs can help in coordination. So I can just quote one example of fruits. Okay, fruits. So that is farmer registration and unified beneficiary information system. So that is one. So this is one app developed by the government of Karnataka in collaboration with the National Informatics Center. So wherein the farmer beneficiaries are given unique code. So unique code. Say for example here it is. So you can just read here. So well-organized and scrutinized farmer database will be avoid farmers from running pillar to the post for availing benefits. So besides, it would help the departments in overcoming the aforesaid issues. So that means a duplication of records. Say for example, to take benefits, so he has to run from one department to the other department. He has to give the reports again and again. So likewise, some beneficiaries may take benefits many times, and others are denied of such benefits. So all such things can be avoided. So ICT has pitched in again for a better coordination. So here the stakeholders are agriculture, horticulture, sericulture, animal husbandry, fisheries, etc. So the top beneficiary schemes, for example, distribution of milk subsidy. So that is one of the big program wherein the scheme has or the app has benefited. So likewise, PM Kisan state contribution, etc. Okay. And for example, this program that is fruits, it has been awarded also at the national level for best e-governance initiative. So that's how. So that way, we definitely the researchers or the various stakeholders can think of alternative ways wherein they can bring in coordination. This is one such ICT innovation wherein coordination has taken place, especially with selection of beneficiary and awarding the various benefits from the various programs. So to conclude, there are many players, there are many stakeholders with different mandates, as I said, resources and approaches. But so there is ample scope for coordination of such stakeholders for faster dissemination of farm technologies through various means. Okay. So likewise, it is always better the farmers are also aware of all such facilities, okay, and the various stakeholders, especially the extension offices. It could be livestock or agriculture, etc. They should have a very clear understanding of all the various stakeholders, their priorities, and their strengths and their programs, etc., so that they can coordinate and so we can bring in good results. So isolated efforts, So normally, so it is a repetition of work, and it is a wastage of resources. So especially at Indian context or a developing country context, we cannot waste resources, so which are very scarce. So the economics says that, so how scarce resources can be effectively utilized. So that is the basics of economics. So in that sense, so we cannot waste these scarce resources. So coordination is required. So it is always better to bring all the players to one platform. So the modalities, as I mentioned, so it could be various committees, or it could be various ICTs, or it could be other means, So sharing of experiences, teaching materials, the methodologies, etc. should happen. So a platform should be created for such a happening. And likewise, focus on appropriate technologies and practices should be given by all the stakeholders. So it is better that they divide the work based on their strengths. Okay. So many times, I personally feel, I don't know, this could be true. Many times our egos come in between. So because, say for example, just informing that such a program is there, please attend, to someone important officer, so that will solve the problems. Many times we don't do that. We don't do that. So our egos come in way of coordination, so that we have to keep aside. So it is always said that a family is higher than the individual. Then likewise, the society is higher than the family, and likewise, the nation is higher than the society. So that way, so we have to keep aside the ego, wherein the objective of the organization is higher than our egos, so we have to go ahead. So we should always remember that the project objective or the project goal is higher than our egos, and we have to adopt right strategies for extension. So that is what I really say with respect to coordination. So this is purely from my experience. So I now request the audience. Sorry,
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Now, if there are any questions from the participants, you can ask our resource persons with us. Please ask.
So now it is open for discussion. If you have any answer, so with my experience and my understanding of coordination, I would like to answer. It is open for discussion, please.
Sir, myself, Jayanto Kumar Datta from Assam Agricultural University.
Okay,
I want to ask you one question, sir.
Okay,
regarding it. What are the points to be considered if one organization's plans for coordination of different activities with other organizations? For example, there may be confusion in one organization, whom to be selected, which are the activities to be coordinated.
Okay,
so, is there any particular points to be considered?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any guidelines to follow?
Sir, guidelines, what I personally feel that, sir, your program objectives should get the top priority. So inclusion or any strategy you adopt, whether they are fulfilling your program objectives, whether they are favorable to your program objectives. So please think on that, sir. Please think on that. And so definitely on the lighter side, keeping little of our ego aside, so we can definitely bring in better coordination, I feel, sir. So that's what I have to tell for this question.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So there is one more.
In the chat itself, there are
some questions, sir. There are some questions.
Is there any
control measures for FMD in livestock? So that is purely a technical matter. So with respect to coordination, so definitely, so Jigar V. Sutar has asked me. So with respect to coordination, definitely, so you should involve all the stakeholders. So FMD means starting from the vaccine production, then the supply chain of the vaccine, then your final end user, the farmer, and the ground level workers like the livestock inspectors and the vaccinators. So all of you definitely should work in coordination. to come out with better control measures. So that's what I can say. So definitely you can evolve your own strategies to see that the vaccination is going on well. So no other question is there, sir, with respect to the presentation. If any other questions are there, I can just answer.
Any other question from the participants? Please ask directly.
If there are no questions, we can end, I think.
Yeah, Dr. Prakash, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you, Majiji.
Please provide the vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Majiji. In fact, actually, even I was, Dr. Manjunath sir also knows that even I was a part of this particular project, actually what we are discussing in Karnataka. And that was really a good experience working with different partners, because anyways, all the programs are, that's what nowadays we are talking about, public-private partnership, or actually the coordination or linkages. And he has tried to put in different experiences, and that has come up very nicely. And I'm sure all our other participants, although this experience may be related to livestock sector, but I'm sure similar experiences can be worked out in agriculture as well as horticulture or home science, or somewhere if there is any scope of having linkage between agriculture, livestock, or home science. So this is that is an actually very welcome move. And I really thank our resource person, Dr. Manjunath sir, for delivering this lecture very nicely, and he has shared all his best experiences with our participants. And I'm sure our participants also might have been enriched with this particular lecture. And I thank all the participants for your patient hearing, and I thank all the organizers for that for sparing their valuable time. And let us all again meet at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash, for giving a nice opportunity to address the participants. So thank you, Majid sir, for just coordinating the show. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
And I want to congratulate and thank everyone. Our channel has reached 1,000 subscribers. Please watch the entire videos. That also helps in gathering the watch time. That helps us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Let's join back tomorrow at 11. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.